Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. Yeah. Students, feel free to loosen up the chairs, spread out a bit. You know, we get to have more control over the space here because I looked over there. They're stuck together. Okay. All right. Do whatever you need to do to be comfortable. Okay? That's what we're here for. We're here for you. Okay? So, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, thank you. Welcome to Colorado State University. I know many of you have already been here for a day or two, and so welcome again to campus and to Fort Collins. And welcome to our Spring 22 Student Affairs and Higher Education Leadership Program Hooding Ceremony. My name is Carmen Rivera, and it is my privilege to serve as the co-chair for the Student Affairs and Higher Education Graduate Program. And I am a faculty member for the Higher Education Leadership Program as well, so it's duly special for me to be here. We are excited to be celebrating with everyone here today, particularly our students. We've spent a lot of time with them, and we're so happy to have their families, friends, community members here with us. But before we get started, and in order to fully celebrate, we will first take a moment to acknowledge the legacy of the full story of how we are even able to gather here on this campus today. Tiffany Kelly, who's a SAHE, our Student Affairs and Higher Education Program alum, will be joining us on the stage to talk a little bit more about the full story. She's also the Assistant Director for the Native American Cultural Center, and she'll be joining us today to share the University Land Acknowledgement. Woot woot. Yes, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Graduates, congratulations! Halito, hello, good morning. Like Carmen said, my name is Tiffany Kelly, pronouns she, her, and hers. I serve as the Assistant Director in our Native American Cultural Center here on campus, which is right down this hallway. I'm also the co-chair for the Native American Advisory Council to the President, so I've been doing this work on this campus for a little bit. I'm a citizen of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, and because of that, I am also settler on this land where we reside, where CSU is, being that my tribal nation is not of this land. As Carmen also said, I'm a graduate of SAHE, class of 2014, so I'd really like to thank you all for inviting me here today to offer this land acknowledgement and to be a part of this amazing celebration. And to all the graduates, I'd just like to again say congratulations and good luck. You're making your families and your communities very proud, and it's really awesome. I'm really humbled to be here this morning with you, sharing an important story about people and land. As Native peoples, connection to land is more than just an acknowledgement. It's recognizing the spirit and relationship to our relatives, the plants, the animals, the insects, the water, and our mountains. In all honesty, this type of land acknowledgement in spaces like this really aren't all that indigenous, as we practice this relationality daily in our own ways. It's meant more to invite non-indigenous folks to think about our roles and our responsibilities to land and to indigenous communities. And I'm grateful to be standing here this morning with you to share these words and also issue a call to action for everyone that's present today. As graduates of this program that are related to institutions of higher education, I ask that you all also think about your roles and responsibilities a little bit differently as we center communities that have been displaced in the name of development and access, specifically Black and Brown Indigenous communities. So I invite you to think about this as you start your new path into higher education or wherever you may go. And to my Indigenous community here today, I want to say that I recognize you and this land, and as we honor place together, we are also celebrating our strength, resiliency, and joy. So with truth, gratitude, and respect, I'd like to share this land acknowledgement and ask that everyone here reflect on the meaning and responsibility that we all have. So Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other Native nations and tribes. We recognize the Indigenous peoples as the original stewards of this land and all of the relatives within. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU is founded as a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion, and significantly that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. So this acknowledgement is the education and inclusion that we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment. Thank you.
Tiffany. Come back to the stage, Tiffany. Thank you. I tried to catch you before you left. Want to say thank you so much. We brought you this little token of appreciation for saying thank you for being here and to do this. But we also wanted to say thank you for all that you've done for SAHE. Tiffany has been the coordinator for our NASPA Undergraduate Fellows Program, is always helpful and wanting to join in and jump in, and anytime we need some help with SAHE, Tiffany's always there. And what we have to say publicly and in front of everybody is that we're super proud of her because she's going to pursue her PhD at the University of Oklahoma. And so we're so proud. And I look forward to the continued work, advocacy, scholarship that you do, centering Indigenous voices, and how you're going to make all of our field so much better. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We love it when our alum go and do awesome things and then come back. Yes. We'll see, she said. Keep us guessing. So yes, thank you again, Tiffany. And thank you. I invite you to think about what your relationship is to wherever you're coming from, to the land there, and how we can carry on that legacy beyond this ceremony today. Now I'd like to introduce my illustrious co-host, co-MC for this event this afternoon, morning. Where are we? What time is it? It's 9:30. Okay, this morning. Introduce Dr. Susana Munoz, Associate Professor and Program Coordinator for the Higher Education Leadership PhD Program. Let's give it up for her. Yay.
Thank you. Got my mature eyes here, yes. So it's great to be with you all here today. First, let me say congratulations to SAHE and HEL classes of 2022. Yes! So our SAHE program is in its 55th year, and the HEL doctoral program is in its 14th year. And today, each of you who are graduating will experience the same sense of personal accomplishment as the many hundreds of graduates who have preceded you throughout our long history. To the family members, friends, colleagues who have traveled a distinct path to arrive at today's ceremony, this event has special significance for all of you as well. You've stood by these graduates with your love, your guidance, and support. And so I would like us to give you a round of applause to those who have supported these students on their graduate school journey. For those family members and friends who could not be here today, we have a special setup to record and live stream the ceremony. Then we will post it on our website for your viewing later. So I would like to thank Jason Rogen and his staff for recording the ceremony and for helping us get this posted to our website. Thank you very much. Yes. Much of our program's success rests with a group of highly motivated and very talented faculty and with a group of very dedicated assistantship and practicum supervisors. Would all the faculty and staff who have participated in the SAHE and HEL experience for these graduates please stand and let us thank you. We are very fortunate as well to have a group of people who work behind the scenes every day to make our programs look good. And very successful. So the staff members are Kelly Clark in the School of Education, Maggie Miranda Britt in the Vice President of Student Affairs Office, and Brianna Reidner and Darren Abernathy, two of our graduate students who have worked with SAHE as part of their assistantship. So please join me in recognizing all of these people for their contributions. Finally, the SAHE and HEL programs are supported by the School of Education and the College of Health and Human Sciences and the Division of Student Affairs. The people who have provided leadership to make this possible are Dr. Susan Faircloth, the Director of the School of Education, Dr. Lisa Youngblade, the Dean of the College of Health and Human Sciences, and Dr. Blanche Hughes, the Vice President of Student Affairs. All of these three people are hopefully with us this morning, so can you stand and be recognized today? Now I'm going to introduce my co-host, Carmen.
Awesome. Now we're going to proceed to what we're here for, the recognition of our graduates. We're going to start off with the SAHE program, and these students have completed their coursework and culminating competency portfolio and have earned the degree of Masters of Science. And for those of you who were hearing their stories about doing coursework and writing their portfolio, it was a lot of work, right? And at their portfolio defenses, talked about many of you here who were with them along the way. So this degree also is a testament to your support and advocacy for them over the years. So the way this works, just in the general sense, I'm a first-generation college student, and so a lot of these ceremonies were the first time I had ever seen or experienced them, right? And so yesterday was the graduate school graduation, and only the PhD students got their name called and their advisor called, and they got to be hooded as a ceremony, right? So today, that's why we're doing this specially, so that we can individually and personally recognize each of our graduates and offer our master's students the same opportunity and our PhD students the opportunity to have their advisors speak some words out so that people know a little bit more about them. So with that, we're going to start this rite of passage of hooding each of our graduates. It's a very elaborate outfit, as you can tell, with all the robes and the hoods and all the things. And so you get to do this together and be a part of the community as we go. So to begin, we're going to have each of the advisors just come up in sequence, and they'll introduce their advisee. The advisee will come up to the stage while stand there awkwardly listening to their advisor say all the beautiful things about them. Then each person will get hooded by their advisor. So we're going to start off first with Dr. Craig Chesson.
Good morning, everyone. As Carmen said, I'm Craig Chesson, and I work in the Office of Vice President of Student Affairs, advisor in the program, and instructor in the SAHE program. Congratulations, graduates. As you previously heard, today's about recognizing our graduates who have completed their program and all of the academic requirements in the Student Affairs and Higher Education program and the Higher Education Leadership program. We also today want to honor one of our students who's not with us today. Brian Hayes passed away on Saturday, May 7th. Brian was one of my advisees, colleague, and friend. Brian worked with our key academic community as a coordinator for over 10 years. Brian had a tremendous impact on students. He was one of the founders of our United Men of Color student organization, which stood for service, leadership, and professional development and improvements in our community. If you interacted with Brian, you would not forget because he touched your soul. Brian is also known for his big smile, and several people say he gave the best hugs. One of the things that I love about Brian, which we had several conversations about, is his authenticity. Brian was himself 24/7. The other thing about Brian is his passion for basketball. He coached basketball, he loved basketball, and he would let you know. In our conversations, I affectionately called him the Allen Iverson of CSU. Brian was real. Please join me in a moment of silence to honor Brian Hayes. Thank you. I'd now like to bring up Dr. Jody Donovan.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jody Donovan, pronouns she, her, and hers, and I also work in the Office of the Vice President for Student Affairs and teach and advise in the program. So will Colette Sterling please join me at the podium? Colette is a unicorn. She's brilliant, kind, thoughtful, creative, hardworking, passionate about DEIJ work, and committed to self-reflection and personal growth. Colette earned her Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies and Business Administration at Colorado State University and worked as a program coordinator for the Office of International Programs prior to enrolling in the SAHE graduate program. Colette's assistantship was with Parent and Family Programs in the Office of the Vice President for Student Affairs, and she also served as the chapter graduate advisor to Alpha Sigma Kappa Women in STEM sorority. To describe Colette through her work and involvement really misses the mark, because it's how Colette engages with students, staff, parents and families, and others that's transformational. Colette simply makes others better. This month, she was recognized by CSU as the Outstanding Advisor of the Year. What she did with the members of What she did with the members of Alpha Sigma Kappa was so significant. Colette's portfolio was perhaps one of the most beautiful, thoughtful, and profound portfolios I've read. And I've read a lot of portfolios. She used kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with lacquer, dusted or mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum, to produce a stronger, more beautiful piece as a metaphor for embracing one's flaws and imperfections. Or as Colette shared in her portfolio, piecing myself together. As she wrote in her final reflection, the kintsugi model involves centering joy as an act of resistance, not in my labor, but in my resilience and strength, where it had to come from, and how it informs how deeply I wish higher education to reflect the lens of liberation at its core. She also shared, for now, I'm more focused around equity and access, internationalization and globalization, and pushing staff and faculty to develop through a social justice lens. I'm less concerned with the destination or which functional area I work in, and more concerned with how I am making an impact in the present. I'm thrilled to share that Colette will continue making an impact at Colorado State University as she accepted the position of Interim Assistant Director of Parent and Family Programs. My life has been enriched for having learned from and worked with Colette, and I'm glad to have Colette as my colleague. Congratulations and welcome to the profession. Will Lazarus Jerome Kupai Ana Ha O Kea Kua SAHE please join me at the podium? What a journey we've had together, right, Laz? Laz graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and Pre-Law Studies certificate from the University of Hawaii at Hilo. While at UH Hilo, Laz was the president of the student body, was already being an advocate for others, looking at systemic inequities, and seeking to be a change agent. After graduation, Laz moved to Shanghai, China, to teach English to students between the ages of 3 to 15. I first met Laz when he enrolled in Student Development Theory online in spring 2019. At the time, he was living and working in China and committed to earning his master's in student affairs and higher education through the online program. And then, lo and behold, summer 2019, Laz is living and working at Colorado State University as an assistant resident director at Ingersoll Hall. One of the things I love about Laz is how he embraces change. And as he wrote in his portfolio, I am someone who shows up no matter the job, no matter the work, showing up ready to see the human behind the student. This SAHE journey has not been easy, as Laz has dealt with health issues, personal and professional challenges, and yet he has persevered. Laz is deeply committed to learning and growing and doing the work. As Laz finished up his coursework, he moved back to Hawaii to be with family and search for a full-time position in student affairs. It would have been understandable if Laz had decided to stop because life continued to throw him punches. At that time, his advisor left, and I gratefully became Laz's advisor. We committed to each other that he was going to finish, and I'm so proud of Laz for his dedication, self-reflection, and significant engagement in learning. Currently, Laz is rocking it as a resident director at Frostburg State University in Maryland. Everything he touches becomes gold in his department as they value his perspectives, energy, and commitment to the holistic development of students. This degree is for Laz, his family, mentors, teachers, and all students, past, present, and future. Congratulations, Laz. I'm thrilled to call you my colleague in this student affairs profession. I'd now like to ask Dr. Mike Ellis to come to the podium.
Will Tess Magenti please join me on the stage? Tess, what a journey it's been, and a good journey at that. When you began the program as a part-time student with a full-time job, I don't believe you or any of us could have anticipated what our world and you might experience during this time. Let's go back. The year was 2014. Jay Leno aired his final show on The Tonight Show, and Jimmy Fallon took over. The Winter Olympics were in Sochi, Russia. Game of Thrones began its 4th season after killing off some of its fan favorites, and Pharrell Williams' song Happy dominated radio stations. You remember now?
I do remember now.
Okay. It was also 2014 when you began your work in the VPSA office. You later moved up to CSU's Mountain Campus, and most recently took a position as the Assistant Director with Conference and Event Services. In all of your roles, Tess, you brought with you love for all things wilderness, fitness, conservation, equity, all uniquely combined with a deep understanding that learning takes risk, and such risk make us vulnerable and must come with support and compassion. Tess, there's no question you made yourself vulnerable during your time in the program. And in this spirit, I offer you a thought shared by one of your colleagues, Christy Matthews, which comes from Brene Brown, and I quote, "Vulnerability is the core of shame and fear and our struggle for worthiness, but it appears that it is also the birthplace of joy, of creativity, of belonging, and of love, all qualities clearly important to you." We also had many conversations about giving our best, striving for perfection, and that sometimes good enough would just have to be good enough. Today, I'd suggest that good enough can also be just perfect, and that you are indeed, and I quote from your portfolio, wiser, more patient, and more well-rounded for being good enough. Last, Tess, and perhaps most importantly, I'd be remiss if I didn't make note that your parents would be incredibly proud of what you've accomplished and who you are. In addition to your sister Mary, your boyfriend, and your close friends and cousins who have supported you throughout the program, and you're mentioning their unique and specific influences on your life in your portfolio is a tribute to them. You've worked hard, played hard, sometimes even cried hard. And I'm grateful for you allowing me to be part of your journey. Congratulations. And now it's my pleasure, coming to my left of the stage, to introduce our colleague and former instructor with me, Dr. Carrie Winsler.
Hi, everyone. Stacy Rodriguez, if you could please join me. Hi, everyone. So my name is Carrie Nakasone Winsler, she, her, hers, and I had the privilege of being a member of Stacy's portfolio committee. And Stacy, you had me in tears in your final defense. You know this, as you claimed your space and shared your truth boldly and unapologetically. It was amazing. You were brilliant. So Stacy's advisor, Dr. Oscar Felix, wasn't able to be here today, so he has asked me to share his remarks about Stacy. So the first face-to-face advisor meeting with Stacy was at Los Tarascos restaurant, which some believe is as good as it gets with Mexican food in Fort Collins. And this, like other social and cultural elements of this town, signals the start of a number of challenges regarding life in Fort Collins and at CSU. Moving from California created a tough transition for Stacy, and the first year here really affected her mental well-being. Documenting this journey of struggle, hope, and triumph was the SAHE portfolio, and I appreciated how Stacy created a deeply personal voice and narrative to provide a window into her life experiences and what her mom and abuelitos meant to her. These passages provided a voice speaking directly to those in Stacy's life about navigating culture, language, religion, pain, joy, belonging, also giving Stacy space to express rage and reckoning at injustices she suffered. I'm particularly proud of Stacy for working diligently on her mental wellness. She dug deep to find meaning and healing these past 2 years. Stacy, I'm so happy to be part of your success, and it warms my heart knowing your familia also celebrates your triumph. Stacy earned a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology from Sonoma State University, where she also worked in their new student summer bridge program. This academic support experience led to Stacy's deep commitment to the mission and work of post-secondary access and student success. Although Stacy has expressed reluctance to engage in research and assessment, she conducted a survey of alumni experiences in SAHE, which will serve to improve the program for future students. Regarding next steps, Stacy plans to take some time off before going into access and opportunity work. Stacy, on behalf of Oscar and the SAHE faculty, congratulations and welcome to the profession. All right, introducing Dr. Pamela Graglia.
Come on up, Sarah Keel. I am very pleased to have the opportunity to heap words of praise and congratulations on Sarah Keel. Sarah is a first-generation college student who got her bachelor's degree from Frostburg University and is coming to us from the DC area, where she completed her master's degree online while doing full-time work at the FBI that we still, at this point, cannot talk about. True story. You can talk to her later. One of the greatest pleasures as Sarah's advisor has been watching her grow in confidence in the work of student affairs. Early on in our conversations and calls, Sarah often had questions about how to approach the sorority she was advising or how to best engage an individual student. By the end of our time together in her coursework, those conversations blossomed into passionate reports of planning educational workshops, mentoring students in their academic pursuits, and coaching other advisors on how to be most developmental in difficult situations. Through everything that she does, Sarah has a deep care for the people around her and a passion for learning. In her portfolio, Sarah shared, "I have come to believe student affairs to be a sort of art. I once had a teacher explain to me that the purpose of art is not to be beautiful, it is to make you feel something. Student affairs is not to make everything perfect. It's not to be beautiful or glamorous. It's not a show to be put on. Student affairs is raw and challenging. Sometimes it's beautiful and sometimes it's ugly. It is something necessary and undervalued in the world of education. It is providing a type of guidance that some students may be missing or need during their time in school. It is staying up until 3 a.m. to make sure the orientation session runs smoothly. It is talking to a student about their financial aid options and helping them apply for scholarships. It is sending a congratulations email. It is taking a student to the Crisis Resource Center. Student affairs is a menagerie of different passions revolving around the purpose of helping." Beyond confidence in her work, I have also seen Sarah grow in confidence in herself, using coursework and reflection to become the person she wants to be. That, too, is a kind of art. Adapting the words of the great philosopher kings BTS, "Know that you are a diamond, you know you glow up." So, Sarah, my friend, my colleague, congratulations and welcome to the profession. And I'd like to invite Dr. Leah Hansen to the stage.
Hey, I'd like to welcome Devin Kane to join me up here. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. Hello, good morning. So I've had the privilege of working with and advising Devin the past 2 years. Devin has worked as an assistant resident manager at the University Village, and he moved to Colorado from the East Coast at a census, probably hoping to get right back there. After gazing at the mountains, he has his fill probably to get back in the swing of things, where it's not the West. So it's funny to work with someone in such an isolated role, I think. To know someone just in this one capacity of life, and for example, an academic advisor, and only see, kind of know them in just this one space. I've always seen Devin as really, and I've known him in a way that's really together and organized, and there was this one time recently where I said that to him. I hear a laugh from and I said that to him, and he just literally guffawed. And I think it was on this meeting, and someone even in the background, I think someone in the background said so. But so I have always seen you this way. You are a great student, but you are a great student. But I do know certainly, so maybe you just seem like you're good at coming across that way as a student, really organized and on time and all these things. But I do know for sure you are a good student, and he is a very naturally talented writer. His portfolio is very well written and truly came from the heart. Very good at seeing the big picture, which is incredibly important in the work of student affairs, I think. Not everyone is very good at looking at the big picture and seeing what needs to be done and being able to do the work that needs to be done in a way that is going to truly impact the lives of students. Devin is a kind and empathetic leader, and which is also very important, and truly is able to see people and meet them where they are and see them for who they are. And that's also essential work. So I have been glad to work with you. And I know you will make an impression that will be immeasurable to students in the future. Congratulations on your graduation, and welcome to the profession. And now I would like to ask Dr. Blanche Hughes to come to the stage.
Hello, everyone. I am Blanche Hughes. I serve as the Vice President of Student Affairs, she, her, hers, and welcome you. Yeah. Okay. Could I have Ayana come up, please? It is my honor to share with all of you how much I admire my advisee, Ayana Phillips. From the first time I met Ayana on the little square screen on my computer, I knew that I would enjoy working with and learning from this woman. She came to us from Kansas State University, where she found her passion for working with students and advocating for students while centering diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice, and started to develop her deep commitment to these efforts. She brought this passion to Colorado State University, and even though working and living as an assistant residence hall director and being a student, a graduate student, during a pandemic was sometimes too much of a challenge, she never lost her passion, her desire to make a change, and a vision for the future. She was always authentic and honest about her journey and what she was struggling with and what she was learning. In the 2 years that she has been here, she has given her all. And almost always, with a smile, sometimes a sarcastic joke, occasional cursing, but always with a deep concern for the success of students, her colleagues, and while practicing as best she could, self-care. So she is ready to go out in the world and help transform higher education for the future. I know that wherever she lands on her next journey, the institution will be lucky to have her. I will miss our engaging conversations, Ayana, and your wise advice and perspectives. Actually, I wrote that maybe we could be on speed dial, but my colleagues who know how much I keep up with technology, I did recognize that we probably don't have that anymore. So instead, I would say, text me often, okay? Congratulations and welcome to the profession. Okay, you heard earlier that one of our colleagues couldn't be here today, Oscar Felix, and so he wrote something that he asked me to read. So let me have, please, Jessica Weiss come up. So right now, pretend I'm Oscar, okay? This is in his words, all right. I have had the privilege of being Jessica's advisor for some time now, 5 years, I believe. Jessica's journey as a SAHE student, working full-time and still finding the time and energy to work on a master's degree, reminds me of my own SAHE journey many years ago. Jessica currently works in the Health and Exercise Science Department as Manager of Academic Operations and has worked hard to implement elements of diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice practices in spaces that really need it. Sometimes frustrating, oftentimes rewarding, the work of creating more inclusive environments is something Jessica confronts head-on while recognizing her privileged identities, as well as drawing from her experiences as a woman in higher education. Jessica is always wanting to learn, discover, and grow. One of Jessica's practicum projects was to take feedback surveys from semester at SAHE participants and compile a report that will inform ways to improve future voyages. For this past semester, one of the skills Blanche was looking for in a new teaching partner for the capstone course was managing the Canvas learning portal technology. Just had to add that. I knew I couldn't bring that skill into the teaching team, but I knew who could. Jessica had been instrumental in helping craft a course on post-secondary access to success, not only with technical matters, but also with content and learning best practices. Jessica provided a great deal of help and support to make the class a great success. Jessica earned a bachelor's degree in communications from the University of South Dakota and deeply values her role as supervisor by providing excellent advice and support. Jessica's plans after graduation include continuing to make meaningful changes in her department while looking for new growth opportunities. I would like to say that I just had the opportunity to know Jessica this past semester when she helped with our class, and agree with so much that Oscar said. In the 3 months, I've come to admire her, always wanting to learn, always being self-reflective, and really excited about her still being here and having the opportunity to get to know her more and to help her as she thinks about what her next journey might look like. So Jessica, congratulations on making the finish line, and welcome to the profession. I would now like to invite Dr. Cal Oldham to the stage. Shut up.
Yes, it does. Hi, my name is Kyle Oldham, and I serve as a faculty member and an advisor in the SAHE program. I'd like to invite Jose Hernandez Alvarado to the stage. The end. Giving life, snatching wigs, and slaying all day. These are the few things that come to mind when I think of Jose's time in SAHE. In his assistantship with off-campus life in Ramride, Jose navigated transitioning a program's main purpose to creating services that offered multiple other opportunities, including offering a mobile food pantry service. He supported students in their development in his role and managed multiple critical priorities from an equitable framework for liberation and student success lens. Jose held a practicum with El Centro, which eventually led him to applying for a full-time position as he currently serves as a student success coordinator in El Centro. It was in our moments of discussion and real talk, after reading reflections from his portfolio, that I got to see Jose's true purpose in creating La Cena for his students to find a space where they can be their true, authentic selves and work towards liberation. It is evident in conversations and talking with Jose that he sees a path forward. He sees a journey he must take and the work he wants to do and will do along the way. To paraphrase and borrow some words/titles from Jose's favorite scholar and poet, Lord, you can be a big star, a leader of a new regime, remain solar-powered on your path, be that homemade dynamite, yet, better yet, be a Royals. As you ended each of your reflections, I'll attempt to end these words in Spanish. Estoy orgulloso de su trayecto hasta ahora y espero con ansias el trabajo que viene a continuación. Bienvenido a la profesión. Alyssa M. Stiles. Huh? Is it vertical running? Should I hold this? You hold that, yes. You're good. When I tell you the pop culture references are strong with this one, I would not do it justice. In their portfolio, from Harry Potter to Kim Possible to the Backyardigans to Batman to Star Wars and the A-Team to hip-hop lyrics and the Criminal Minds and so much more, even the title of their portfolio, There Is No Spoon. Through all of that I had to read, I ask you, why no Marvel? But I digress. During their time in the program, they served as an assistant resident director for Parmalee Hall, helping to cultivate experiences through intentional connections, supervision, and leadership. In addition, they served as the Foundation and Trends teaching assistant, worked on the committee as part of the CSU Drag Show, served in capacity for 2 practicums with College of Engineering Orientation Program and the Gender Expansive Housing Committee. I'd like to share with you a few words and observations from your previous advisor. You've always been no one but yourself. It was an honor to be by your side for your first year in SAHE and watch you begin to stretch beyond the confines you had been given. Keep stretching, keep reaching, keep being the best that you can be. In their portfolio, Stiles used the following words from Tupac Shakur. I'm not saying I'm gonna change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. Stiles, you are and will continue to be that spark, and I do truly believe you will change the world. Continue to spark the brains of those around you and bring your whole self to everything you do. It is a gift that you can offer that no one could ever match. Stiles will be headed to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, where they will serve as a community director. Congratulations and welcome to the profession. Aaliyah Walker. Woo, child, where to start? Should it be the challenge, the support, or the shade? Okay, let's start with the support. In her portfolio, Aaliyah quoted bell hooks. The ability to acknowledge blind spots can emerge only as we expand our capacity to care about the oppression and exploitation of others. It is in this statement Aaliyah centers her approach to the work of student affairs in care. Words shared by your previous advisor, how's the pooches? Aaliyah, I always appreciated your flair, your brilliance, and your astute read of any situation. It was a joy to have you as a student and as an advisee. During her time in the program, Aaliyah served as an assistant resident manager for Aggie Village, working with graduate and upper division students to navigate life and living on campus. In addition, Aaliyah did her practicum experience with the Inclusive Community Assistance Program in university housing. Now the challenge. Remember the lessons learned, the voice you found, and the opportunities of growth you've experienced. The road may not and will not always be easy, and it is in these moments you will continue to shape your authenticity and care for yourself, your work, and your students. And now the shade. No, I'm just kidding, there's no shade. It was a pleasure walking with you on your journey. Now don't be walking out of here acting all brand new and forgetting that you haven't what you've been through. Remember the work you've done, and I will always know who to call upon for tips and tricks on how to help me beat this mug for the gods. Definition, for those of you who don't know, beating your mug is applying makeup. Aaliyah will be headed to Georgetown, where she will serve as a community director, and congratulations and welcome to the profession. Next, I'd like to welcome to the stage Doctora Carmen Rivera. 04.
Okay, first I'm going to read some comments on behalf of one of our faculty members who couldn't be here, Dr. Jennifer Johnson, and she's reading these on behalf of Kathy Woodward, who couldn't be here today, but is joining us live via satellite. No, just kidding. For those of us born before a certain era, that makes sense. Okay, okay, good, thank you. I appreciate the support. Okay, good. Kathy entered the SAHE program at Colorado State as a kindergarten teacher, hoping to use the degree to transition her professional trajectory into higher education. She brought with her a strong commitment to the concepts of educational access and equity, particularly for students who have been traditionally marginalized within education systems. During her time as a SAHE student, she chose practicum and elective courses focused on data management, data visualization, and statistical analysis. She discovered that not only is she pretty good at this kind of thing, she also has a passion for it as well. As a graduate of the SAHE program, Kathy will be pursuing professional opportunities that focus on assessment and educational research. I am certain that in blending her passions for data analysis and equity, that she'll make a positive impact in moving our educational systems forward in a positive direction. Congratulations, Kathy, and welcome to the profession. Let's give her a round of applause. Okay. Will the illustrious Sonia Dametarin come to the stage, please? That's right. Okay, welcome. Hi. Hi. Okay. Committed, fierce, perseverant. These are the first 3 words that I would use to describe Sonia. A ton of others come to mind too, but we're on a time limit, so we're going to stay there, yeah. I had the pleasure of being Sonia's co-advisor along with Dora Frias, who couldn't be here today, so these comments are on behalf of both of us. As an undergrad, Sonia was involved, and when I say involved, I mean like hella involved, like involved in everything, and a strong student leader for our campus. And we were super excited to work with her as her advisors in the SAHE program. Her graduate assistantship was within campus activities, which provided lots of new opportunities and challenges, particularly doing that job remotely for the first full year. Not being able to meet her students in real life and only having this job only via the screens of the Brady Bunch tile screens, right? So, and she, even in that space, she still remained committed to her passions, which is working with Undocumented and Dreamers United. And she continued to do that while in her graduate studies, and doing it so well, in fact, that she has inspired many of those students to continue on and pursue their own graduate education because of the role model that she has been to them. And that's continuing her legacy of leadership and commitment to these students. When she was in my ethics class in SAHE, she didn't always say much. Estaba bien calladita. Like, But then when she would speak up, it was like so loud and so powerful, because one thing that is true about her is that she's gonna do something, it's gonna be on purpose and with purpose. So I would remember that in class, that whenever Sonia would speak, everybody would listen, for sure, because she had something to say. At first, our advising meetings often took a little bit of a circular route. We'd talk about her dog, her parents, her job just a little bit, but we didn't talk a lot about of the logistical things, right? Dora and I noticed that she would be trying to say the right thing. Because the thing that Sonia had done is become an expert at being a student, had become an expert at navigating systems that actively and systemically exclude students like her. And so it took a long time for us to warm up and get to the place where we could actually be real with each other, because we, her advisors, these queer Latinas who are, PhDs and master's students, were like, okay, come on, where's the rest? Bring it in. And we got there. She was able to be her full, whole person in this space in a way that she hadn't been before. And we were able to then get to the depths of her story and her activism and her commitment and all of that fierce persistence that she has had. Once that happened, we knew that she was a force. She was a force, and that when she came, when it came to walking up across this graduation stage, we knew that there was nothing stopping her from that, because once she puts her mind to something, it will happen, no matter what. So that is one of the things that we like about her most, because even when it isn't easy, even when it's challenging, even when it's throwing active barriers in her way, she makes it happen. Sonia hopes to continue to work with undocumented student services, and no matter where she lands, we know she's going to go the extra mile for her students, because she is 100% chingona. Congratulations, Sonia, and welcome to the profession. Okay, next, I'd like to invite Esmeralda Roman to the stage, please. That's right. There you go. Come on up. Mm-hmm. Yep, there's these heels. Okay. All right. We're going to get started. My 3 words for Ezzy: positive, compassionate, invested. These are the 3 words that come to mind when I think of Ezzy. I also have a very vivid picture of when I first met Ezzy during I-Days for SAHE interviews. She walked in, and I think her curly hair arrived before she did, because it was big and beautiful and had its own presence, and I remembered that vividly. I also remember her bestie, who was in the program at the time, came and be like, oh my God, you have to meet my bestie. She's the best person in the whole wide world. Turns out she was pretty on the mark about that. Her positive energy, even at that time, was super contagious, and I was super happy when she accepted our invitation to enroll in the program. And then I got even more excited when I got assigned as her advisor. Since her entrance to the program, I have seen her grow a ton. I've seen her grow as a scholar, I've seen her grow as a practitioner, I've seen her grow as a person. As we've talked about already, during their first year of the program, it was a wild time. It was during the pandemic when everyone was locked down at home. Ezzy had traveled to Colorado State from Florida, and all of her family and everyone, her relations, were back in Florida. And so the transition to graduate school is challenging for anyone. And in this particular context, it was super challenging for Ezzy. And one of the things that I witnessed her do is stick to it. It was a huge challenge for her. Her family, a testament to their continued support and encouragement, encouraged her to stick it out and stay here. And she made it through. And she made it through with flying colors. Not only did she come through that challenging time, she came out with sparkles and rainbows and tons of enthusiasm and energy. And so when I got to see her on the other side of that year, it was a true delight. she really hit her stride in that second year. She invested herself and in her students. And what I noticed it in our advising sessions because time just flew by, right? We would get caught up in all the conversations, not just about SAHE. It would be about the program, about portfolio, how you doing with writing. Ezzy was on the writing train. She was done fast and furious. She was like, I'm about to get this done. And so it was really great to see her show up in that way. We talked about Florida a ton. We talked about all the TV shows, Adele, and how we were so excited to go see her, and then how we were so devastated that we couldn't go see her. All of the things, you name it, we were talking about it. And that's one of the things that I really appreciated about my time with Ezzy is that it was, once you were with her, you were in that space, in that present moment. And that's how I felt that she was invested in that way, in her students, in her job, and in her work. And as I got to know Ezzy, I saw a lot of myself in her. And it's not just about the curly hair. It's about the attitude. It's about the flair. It's about the perseverance and commitment to the things that you do and the investment. And for me, it was such a gift to be able to be in this relationship with you and look forward to it continuing to grow. So I'm so excited to see where your future leads, which will immediately be at the University of Maryland as a residence director. Yes! And Ezzy, too, is 100% Chingona. Congratulations, Ezzy, and welcome to the pro. Now I'd like to invite my homie from New Mexico up, Dr. Kathy Cisneros.
Hi everyone, I am Kathy Cisneros, she, her, hers, and I teach and advise in the SAHE program. Daniel, want to come up? Now, I know we still have the HEL students, but there's nothing like Daniel having the opportunity to be our final SAHE student because he likes the moment. Take it. Take it. All right. It has been my pleasure to serve as Daniel's advisor. A couple of things which kind of has been spoken and not really spoken is Daniel and I didn't actually meet in real person in live until when? A year later? A year after you started? We saw each other across the field one day, but everybody was still social distancing, so we didn't come near each other. But I'm like, I think I know that guy. I'm like, oh, that's my advisee. So it has been great to finally spend some time with Daniel, and I'm going to miss his sass. So let me share a little bit about Daniel. He graduated with a degree in gender studies at UC San Diego, which I would say provided a critical foundation for him as a SAHE student and as a practitioner. During these past 2 years, Daniel has taken those lessons from undergrad and figured out how to embody and embrace his own identities. I would say that Daniel came in with a ton of very hard skills already as a practitioner. What Daniel got over these past 2 years is his own, I'll say it this way, your own coming out party. Mariposa, right here. I have loved everything about him embracing who he is. And it has shaped him as a leader and as a mentor, and I know his students have deeply, deeply appreciated the ways in which he has shown up in his full self with them and for them. This was abundantly clear in his role as a graduate assistant in university housing. Daniel experienced a lot of challenges during these past 2 years, and I think that's an understatement for a lot of folks. And I think he is leaving with more clarity about who he is, who he wants to be, and more confidence walking and living his truth. Now, what I learned hot off the presses as soon as I rolled onto campus today is that Daniel here will be joining, which I did not know, Aaliyah, at Georgetown as a community director. So a huge congratulations. Daniel, it's been my absolute pleasure. Congratulations and welcome to the field. Okay, I was like, I'm not sure where we're going here. I'd like to introduce back Dr. Susana Munoz.
Okay, for the doctoral hoodings. Just to let you know, the Higher Education Leadership Program is a hybrid program, and so our students engage in coursework distance, and during the summers, they come and spend a week with us and take coursework. So if you think about, these are senior level leaders in higher education, embarking in a doctoral program, writing a dissertation, going through prelim examinations, all while also having their lives and families. So I'm really proud of our graduates today. So I want to bring up first Dr. Jessica Winans. Dr. Jessica Winans currently serves as the faculty coordinator of Lynn Benton Community College in Oregon. Jessica's dissertation is titled Social-Spatial Experiences of Part-Time Community College Faculty. Jessica's dissertation was framed by institutional ethnography, critical geography, and her participants used mental sketch mapping, which led to reflective spatial narratives that uncovered the ways that part-time faculty influenced and were influenced by spaces. Her findings showed that there were limited spaces in which part-time faculty felt comfortable utilizing, poor classroom and office spaces, yet these instructors went through great lengths to support their students, despite their lack of inclusion. Her findings have tremendous potential to inform how higher education should be investing in nourishing part-time faculty so that they have a voice, they feel valued, and they feel seen by any institution. I'm excited for the impact that you will make with faculty support at community colleges. I also know that a lot of life happened while you were completing your doctorate. You became a parent, you changed jobs, and I appreciate the work ethic and grace you have demonstrated throughout the process. I remember the day you walked into my office, very shyly, asked me to serve as your dissertation chair. And while we didn't know each other all that well, I am grateful that I didn't miss the opportunity to learn alongside you. I'm honored that I got to be on this journey with you. Congratulations.
So we all get a minute to talk and share our thanks now. And I want to start by thanking Dr. Munoz. In that meeting that she referred to, I just wasn't sure what I wanted to study. And she said, when you talk about space, your eyes light up. And that really changed my path to start looking at space for part-time faculty. The rest of my committee as well really encouraged that. Mostly the part-time faculty for sharing that vulnerability, their tears and their laughter, and really putting themselves out there so we could better hear their voices and understand the experiences of part-time faculty. And then lastly, my family who is here today, as well as my cohort members and friends who have supported me along the way. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Dr. Miriam Bochetti. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce Miriam Bochetti this morning. She currently serves as the College Assistant Migrant Program Director at Central Washington University. Her dissertation titled, A Funds of Knowledge Study of the College Persistent Experiences of First-Year Latinx Students in the College Assistant Migrant Program, CAMP, sought to understand the complexities of Latinx migrant students' experiences with the hopes that educators can better support this population of students. Using funds of knowledge as a theoretical lens, her phenomenological study explores college persistence experiences of these first-year Latinx participants. CAMP program is a federally funded program designed to support migrant students in their first year of post-secondary education. Miriam's findings suggest that programs like CAMP need to be looked at as leaders in support programs, and they need to be replicated so that migrant students feel a sense of belonging. What many people don't realize is that Miriam is a national voice for migrant students across the nation. As the current president of the National HEP and Camp Association, I appreciate your positivity, Miriam. Even when faced with many obstacles, you always remain optimistic and resilient. Your students are lucky to have you as a leader. Thank you for loving cats just as much as I do. And congratulations, and I wish you well.
I love cats more than anything. Buenos dias, everybody. I just want to thank my family, Dr. Munoz, the rest of my committee, and my cohort, because we had some really good times together. This was an incredible and meaningful journey, and I don't recommend it to anyone. That's not true. I recommend it to everybody. You really just have to be good at managing time and not procrastinating, even though all of us, you find that spot you need to clean and the clothes you need to wash, but we did it, and that's really what matters. And again, my passion is working with migrant students, and the food that we eat is picked by those individuals who work in the fields. So please remember that when you eat. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to invite Dr. Brandy Scott to the stage. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce Dr. Brandy Scott. She serves as the Director of Multicultural Student Center for Equity and Justice at the University of Texas in San Antonio. Brandy's dissertation titled Disrupting Systems of Whiteness at Hispanic Serving Institutions uses critical whiteness studies, Gina Garcia's Decolonizing Hispanic Serving Institutions organizational frame, and Ray's racialized organizational frame theory. It was a lot of theories. For recently designated HSIs. Through the critical qualitative case study, Brandy interviewed higher education student affairs administrators, faculty, and senior leadership about their experiences, goals, and approaches to serving students. Brandy's findings related to how whiteness impacts and operates at an HSI includes the rhetoric of all as a tool of white appeasement, the taxation of bodies of people of color, and whiteness through good intentions. These findings have the potential to inform national policy as well as radicalize how HSIs need to employ notions of servingness of Latinx students rooted in anti-racism. Brandy, I appreciate the criticality that you brought to your research, the constant interrogation of yourself during this process. I appreciate your determination and passion for making higher education a better place for minoritized students. I also know that you had a lot of life happen while completing your doctorate, becoming a parent, moving to a new job, new state. And I love how Shay and Shelby have grounded you through this process. I love how you light up when you talk about your family, which is a reminder to all of us the important things in life. Thank you for including me in your journey. Congratulations.
Thank you, Doctora Munoz, for all of your support on this journey. To my cohort, I love you, Ebony, and to everyone on this journey. I love my wife and my baby who's watching, and Mom and Dad. When you took me in at 14, and Mom, you taught me how to read. This is for you, and I'll never let you down. I promise.
I'd like to invite Dr. Ebony Ramsey to the stage. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce you Dr. Ebony Ramsey, who currently serves as the Assistant Dean for Student Involvement at Maryville University. Her dissertation, She Begat This, a Black Girl Mixtape, exploring racialized and gendered portraits of Black women presidents at HBCUs, uses portraiture methodology to illustrate how Black women have navigated and resisted challenges presented by patriarchal leadership positions in the academy. She employed critical race theory and Black feminist thought to center the experiences of Black women HBCU presidents. Her findings provide insight to the context in which Black women experience and navigate racism, bigotry, patriarchy within the academy. She urges HBCUs to unpack the generational trauma that stems years of systemic racism and patriarchy found in higher education institutions. Ebony used music and the mixtape metaphor as a way to articulate thoughts and emotions throughout the research process. Her curated mixtape was a creative way for her to connect the stories of Black women presidents in the academy to song and music. I admit this was new to me, but I love that you did it. I love that your dissertation embodies who you are. Ebony, I know that you have resisted the notion of being an HBCU college president yourself. But I see you in this role in your future as you emulate all the qualities of good leadership we seek in college presidents. I also want to recognize that you lost someone dear to you during this journey, and I want you to know that he, along with the rest of your ancestors, are looking down on you with pride this morning. I appreciate our common love for Greek organizations. I appreciate all the wedding tips you gave me. I appreciate the impact that you will make on your community. Thank you for choosing me to be on your journey. Congratulations.
I'm so excited. I don't know what to do. Thank you so much for those kind words, Dr. Munoz. I'm a spiritual person, so I believe that God brought us together and brought you here to CSU. When I first got here 6 years ago, there weren't a lot of people that looked like me, and so when you came along, it was a breath of fresh air, and I appreciate everything that you did. To my committee, I appreciate all the guidance, all the words of encouragement, and all of the challenge as well. And to my wise counsel, as I call them, my wise counsel, so Carmen, Tom, Josie, this is ours. So I appreciate everything that you all did to help me out and get me across the finish line. Brandy, Miriam, Shayna, Rashida, Rachel, Carrie, all of those folks, I love you all to death, and we couldn't have done this. I couldn't have done this without you all. To my mom, who stayed up with me through the pandemic and fixed me coffee and asked me if I wanted anything to eat and fixed me toast. Maya Angelou said, I've learned that many people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how they made you feel. Mom, I thank you for making me feel. I appreciate this, and I share this with you. My mom read my whole dissertation, which no one does that. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to invite Dr. Poon to the stage. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to ask Dr. Carrie Nakasone-Wensler to join me on stage, please. Well, Dr. Wensler, you're a bit of a popular person around here. Dr. Wensler currently serves as the Associate Executive Director of Orientation and Transition Programs here at CSU. And that is the position you've had through the entire time you've been in this program, so she has juggled quite a bit to be here. Dr. Wensler completed a dissertation entitled Centering Asian American Women's Experiences in Reconceptualizing Leadership in Higher Education Through Counter-Storytelling. It's a mouthful of a title for a study that can be summed up as a project of love. Love in a world too full of anti-Asian racism, xenophobia, and misogyny. In this timely project, Dr. Wensler's central question asks how Asian American women leaders engage in our own and diverse ways of knowing to create new pathways of leadership in higher education for ourselves, our communities, and for all. Now let me tell you about Dr. Kelly. There's not a whole lot of people. I currently serve as a faculty affiliate here at CSU. I live in Chicago. There's not a whole lot of people who would really motivate me to just be like, let me just fly across the country and come do this, little ceremony here. But Dr. Kelly, you have my whole heart, and I'm so in admiration of you for all that you have done through this project and through this program. You approach this project with your whole heart, and something I learned about you, starting with, I was kind of startled by this actually. Dr. Wensler is a binge writer of the finest caliber, let me tell you. She would tell me on a Thursday or a Friday, I know I've got this proposal due to you, I will knock this out this weekend. And I would be, let me reenact my face. I think my face might have been like, really? In a weekend, you're gonna do 3 chapters? Okay, I see the family, right? I was thinking of y'all too, really, when she would tell me. And come Monday or Tuesday, she would send me a solid first draft, and I was blown away every dang time. And no doubt this is a credit to you, Dr. Wensler, but also to your family out there. So kudos to you all as well. Dr. Wensler, you and your project of love, astound, and inspire. And I'm so grateful to have been part of this journey with you. Congratulations. So we get a good picture. All right, won't knock your glasses off, I hope. Good, okay. Whew. All right, hi everyone. Gosh, many of you know that I do not enjoy being the center of attention. But I have to tell you that this ceremony is so incredibly meaningful to me. So thank you for hosting this. Just to be here as a SAHE faculty member, celebrating our incredible master's students, and then to be here as a PhD student graduating from the Higher Education Leadership Program, this is the best way to get to celebrate graduation, and it is incredibly meaningful with an incredible group of people, so thank you. And I have to tell you that being able to, I loved it. I loved creating research that centered Asian American women leaders. It was a transformative experience, and I would not be graduating without my community of support. For sure, this took a whole team. So a huge thanks to my family, special shout out to Michael and my baby Kellen. Huge thanks to my sub-cohort, my formation family. Thanks to my incredible advisor for really guiding me and pushing me. And thanks to the rest of my incredible dissertation committee as well. Thank you all so much. Thanks to my friends and CSU colleagues who have been an incredible support as well. Again, this was a team effort. This was not a me thing to get to graduation. It was a very collective we thing, and we did it, so thank you. I welcome Dr. Carmen Rivera back to the stage.
All right. I get to continue on as being other folks' proxy, so bear with me while I get all my notes together. Joining me up, if I would like to invite Jamie Dahl, Dr. Jamie Dahl, to the stage. I'm making these remarks on behalf of Jamie's advisor, Dr. Jean Gleckner, but I also get to be excited about it because Jamie and I started the program at the same time, and so we took all of our coursework together, so it's super, super special for me to be able to be in this space with you as a colleague. So these are from Dr. Gleckner. Dr. Jamie Dahl faced many challenges during her PhD journey. She always faced those challenges with a smile and her loving, caring attitude. Dr. Dahl has become a leader in diversity, equity, and inclusion in the field of forestry. Her loving family reflects her love of life. She is a star among her peers. It was an honor to serve as Jamie's advisor. I, like all who know her, have the greatest respect and love for Dr. Jamie Dahl. Jamie's study was called A Mixed Methods Approach to Understanding Engagement and Inclusion of Minoritized Groups in the Society of American Foresters. And what I could tell you about her study, while I have not gotten to read it yet, she has remained true to how she has tried to make the forestry area, discipline, field more inclusive, more equitable, more accessible to more people. And it is a testament to her passion and how she will continue to influence the field. Join me in congratulating Dr. Jamie Dahl.
All right, well, so glad to be here. Thanks for all being here to support us, especially the kids who are going through this whole ceremony. That's impressive. Mine aren't here. But so I have to think where it starts, right? So my mom was always in school, so demonstrates doing hard things and lifelong learning. And my father was a dad Girl Scout leader by her side and always was okay with getting dirty outside. So thankful to the program because it's not easy to be able to work and be a parent and be in school, but this program makes that possible. And of course, have to go to my advisor and my committee. So Dr. Jean Gleckner, just an amazing advisor and a really great match for me. He kind of got me super excited about mixed methods, and I was determined to do stats and stories in my work. And then for those of you who don't know, Dr. Gleckner actually had a really bad accident this spring, and he told me, don't let this be an excuse for you. And he couldn't even sit in a chair, but he held his laptop up and read stuff and almost always turned it around in a few days, which is amazing. And then I have a wonderful committee, Dr. Maria Fernandez-Jimenez, Dr. Shannon Archibek-Engel, and Dr. Danny Birmingham, who all also saw me through and really pushed me to even further light that environmental and social justice fire. And thanks to all those foresters and natural resource folks who answered that survey. So thanks all.
Okay, now I would like to invite Becky Franz to the stage. I'm going to be making these last two comments for our last two students on behalf of Dr. Linda Cook. And she wanted to start off by saying, I want you to join me in congratulating two of the HEL doctoral students who finished in 2021 and attended yesterday's graduate school graduation and are here today. I had the honor of serving as their advisor and appreciate their hard work, their endurance, and their commitment to unique and timely scholarship throughout their HEL studies. So Dr. Becky Franz is a member of the 2015 Higher Education Leadership Cohort and completed her dissertation entitled Relationships Between Economic, Political, Demographic, and Educational Climate Variables and State Appropriations to Research Universities in 2021. That's a lot of words. That's a lot of study. Congratulations on that. She is currently employed as the Executive Director of Advancement Services at the University of California, Davis, and she is married to Joey France. Let's give it up for Becky France, Dr. Becky France. We're going to say that every chance we get for her great studies in the program.
Thank you, Dr. Rivera. First, thanks to my committee. I know Linda can't be here. She was a great advisor, kept me going when I needed to keep going, and also told me to take a break when I needed it. Thank you to Jean, who is on my committee, who can't be here today, and allowing me to speak about how much math matters and how it can make a difference. Also, someone else who was on my committee, Rodney Hughes, who is actually faculty at WVU. It was really special. He was a PhD student over a decade ago when I was getting my master's, and we were in classes together. And he said, you could and should do this someday. And so it was awesome to be able to go back and ask him to serve on my doctoral committee and have him say yes and be able to, call me a doctor when they called me back into the room after my defense a decade later. So that was a really amazing experience. Thank you to my partner, Joey. He married me during the program, which is not something like I would have done to me. And thank you to my cohort. I do very different work than a lot of my classmates. I work in budget and finance. I don't do student affairs things. So thank you for letting me learn with you and from you. And truly, I do also, this was a big part of my acknowledgements in my dissertation, but I want to say thank you to my care team during the pandemic. I have one doctor who told me to, keep going and that I'm going to do great things. And I said, Dr. Sam, I don't know if I do great things, but I see part of my responsibility is to make sure that the money goes to all of the spots so that way everyone else can go on and can do all of the great things that they're supposed to do. So that's what I'm going to keep doing.
Okay, Dr. Stephen Lehrer, can you please come to the stage? Dr. Stephen. Okay. All right. Words from Linda again. Dr. Stephen Lehrer is a member of the 2015 cohort of the Higher Education Leadership Program as well. In May 2021, he defended his dissertation entitled Exploring the Perceptions of First-Generation College Students with Strengths-Based Development Experience. Steve currently works as the lead HR strategy design consultant on the National Leadership Development Team at Kaiser Permanente. In his work, he uses what he learned at CSU to design and deliver leadership development programs for frontline leaders through senior executives across the 250,000 person company. He is supported here today and every day by his wife, Virginia, his parents, and his 3 children. Congratulations, Dr. Stephen Lehrer. Yes.
All right, so I get the honor of being last. So if you're ready for my 15-minute speech I've been working on since 9:15 this morning. But first, I really want to thank Linda, who couldn't be here today, and my committee. Transitioning from student affairs into healthcare set up a crisis for me right at the start of my dissertation phase, where I said to Linda, I don't know if this matters anymore. I don't know how I can keep going. And she said, it may not matter now, but it will matter when you're done. And it matters. And I'm glad she pushed me for the past 6 years over this finish line. So thank you, Linda. I want to thank my wife, Virginia, who is here today with us. She not only supported me through this program, but also my master's program back at Bowling Green State University. I couldn't have done any of this without her support. Also, my 3 kids are here today as well. So they've sat through now 2 ceremonies. So first, Samantha, right there, who was the only one who was alive when we started this thing. So she can tell you all about it. Brianna joined us and taught me what it's like to come to class with a 4-day-old. And so she's been a part of this program as well. And Logan, our 4-year-old, is the reason why I had to lock my office door with 2 locks as I was coding things on the floor so that he didn't destroy everything. But they've made this journey eventful, and I'm glad they could be here today. And then my parents are here as well, and I want to thank them for all of their support. It was a struggle getting through the end of this during writing a dissertation during the pandemic. They came out right at the end of my writing, and in 3 weeks of them being here helping us, I wrote 45 pages and finished my dissertation. So there's something to be said about it takes a village and a family to make this happen. So thank you all, and congratulations to my cohort and everyone else here today.
Okay, let's give one big round of applause for all of our graduates, the 2022 class. There are, yes, standing ovation, yes, yes, yes. All right. What all of these students have accomplished is tremendous. They sit here before us having had to navigate one of the most challenging times to be a student in the history of education. Today marks the culmination of all of those efforts. Bell Hooks said, what we do is more important than what we say or what we believe. We invite you to take what you've learned here, graduates, to make our institutions better. We invite you to take what you've learned from these programs and do. Do great work for students. Do great work for faculty and staff. Do work that makes our institutions more accessible and equitable. Do continue to be a reflective scholar and practitioner. Go and do all the little and great things that will leave things better than we found them. Now, we have a little deviation from our program because we have two people that we would like to honor today because their role in our program is changing a little bit. So first, we wanted to take a moment to honor Dr. Susana Munoz and her incredible leadership of the HEL program. Next year, she will be taking a year-long sabbatical to work on her research and scholarship, and we couldn't be more proud of that time that she's going to be continuing her badassery. We couldn't let her leave here without us saying how much we have appreciated her leadership and the development of our HEL program. Her leadership and presence and philosophy and pedagogical approach has taken our program to new heights, and it has made it better than ever. We want to wish you the best next year, and we'll see you when you get back in 2023. So let's give it up for Dr. Munoz. Okay, last but, oh, there goes my earring. Stand by. The vanity of this all is just too much. Okay, last but not least, the one and only illustrious GOAT, the greatest of all time, Dr. Dave McElfresh. Yeah, yeah. The man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Dave McElfresh. Dr. Dave came back from retirement this year to help lead our SAHE program during a year of transition. Now, I might be biased. I might be biased for both of these humans because they both were my advisors. Dr. Mack was my advisor in SAHE, and Dr. Munoz was my advisor in HEL. And so I feel like we have the goats of the goats up on this stage, right? For those of you who are like, why are you calling her and them a goat? The greatest of all time, the acronym, right? The greatest of all times for both of them. He made an incredible comeback tour to support our program this year to ensure its continued success. And in fact, he increased the number of assistantships we were able to offer just in this 1 year. Just one example of how he has dedicated so much of his time, energy, talent to our program over the years that he's been here at Colorado State and with the SAHE program. Now, he officially goes off to retirement. And we have like insisted that this happens so that he can go and live that good retired life, knowing that he will forever and always be missed, and also knowing that we're going to continue bugging him for help in his retired life. So everyone, if you can, please help me give Dr. Dave a huge round of applause and honoring the legacy he has created here. All right, folks, we did it. We did it. All of the honors to all of the people and all of their work again. Thank you all for coming and supporting all of the students and their successes. What we'll do now is do our recessional out of the hall with our faculty and our graduates exiting as they came in, and the processional. Continue to invite you to finish eating, enjoying reception, the drinks, the food, the chocolate-covered strawberries. Thanks again, Darian and Bree, for really putting this whole event together. Thanks to our catering staff and our staff who are making the behind-the-scenes things happen today. So thank you again. Please enjoy the rest of the morning, and thank you for coming.